Grüezi, grüezi, it's your residential Swiss reptile here, RagingRaptor, and I welcome you to a new World of Tanks video. Or more like a podcast, so if you enjoy to just listen to some weird Swiss talking English in a weird accent because he he learned English, but he didn't really learn how to pronounce everything correctly, well, then have me, have a seat, have a drink, have a coffee, whatever the hell. We're going to talk about field modifications. Field modifications is something very weird, and in my opinion it should also be a lot more controversial than it actually is. Because if we have a look right now, field modifications on the Russian server is very well received. 90% likes on their video. Meanwhile, on the NA version we have 85% likes, on the EU version 86% likes, and the Germans are at 80% as well. So, as you can see, Russians really actually like this feature, while the majority of the Western side is cautiously optimistic about this, I would say. So yeah, what is field modifications? Really briefly, it is basically wargaming's answer to the players' cry for endgame content. It allows you to get some permanent bonuses for your most played vehicles by paying XP and paying credits. And you're also able to get some modifications, which are trade-offs, which gives you a plus in category X versus a minus in category ZY. And you can exchange those to get the plus in category Y and the minus in category X. And lastly, it allows you to get 2 sets of equipment and 2 sets of consumables, which you're allowed to change in the game before it starts. Overall, the feature sounds are actually very nice. However, it is actually quite the opposite at what wargaming should do right now, in my honest opinion. Wargaming should focus on trying to slow the game down and not speed it up even more, because field modifications is the gateway into making 5-minute games into 3-minute games rather easily, because let's be honest, obviously 5 games in 5 minutes are amazing, as you all saw in Skills survey. We all like it, right? Totally not sarcasm right now. But yeah, that's the whole thing. And let's look at one of the features which, if field modifications will come, chances are pretty high they are coming, because right now it's on the test server, obviously, and it's getting pushed very hard, is that if you, for example, buy the field modification or one of the field modifications, the UI is completely fuckfest. That's just how it is. So, let's say I'm a player which wants to try something out. You know, I put this together, I grinded 228,000 XP, I think, or 224,000 XP to unlock everything on my brand spanking new tier 10 VZ55. So, obviously, I have to pay for each of those 150,000 credits. So 150, 300, 450, 700, 600, 750. 750,000 credits I have to pay just to get all of those thinged, and then we have to reassign something new. So 750 we are by 900,000. I know I can do math in my head. Actually, I'm surprised myself. But yeah, let's say, for example, I've noticed that I'm actually not that happy with the, let's say, yeah, less stun duration, you know. I get 3% more fear range, but I get 10% more stun duration, meaning that if I get stunned for 10 seconds, I have 11 seconds instead of 10 seconds. Oh no. But yeah, I am not liking this. So what I have to do right now is basically, I can't just click right here and double click it or something. I can't even click the right mouse button or the middle mouse button. Wait, I'm actually not on top of it. As you can see, no. I have to press this button right here, which destroys the dual modification. I have to press this button right here, lose 150,000, and now I have this. But now I notice, oh crap, I actually don't really like this additional noise insulation thing, so I have to press this one again, go here, press this one again. So, in some updates down the road, Wargaming might say, oh, we have to redo some field modifications, buff some, nerf some, etc, etc. And then you're sitting here basically having to pay at minimum 450,000 credits to test out one. This is my major point. I understand, and this is also what Wargaming told us, that this is supposed to be an EXP and credit sink. That is totally fine. I get that. That's endgame content to slightly buff and adjust your vehicles. That's totally a-okay. I get it. But it really hampers people to try things out. It basically says, oh, you want to try out? Pay us. That's literally how it is. And that is something super frustrating because it's something we literally already discussed in the first iteration of the sandbox. So yeah. Why? Wargaming. Really. The person which made this UI decision right here, he might need to get some scolding because it's horrendously inefficient to use and it's super frustrating to use for me. Seriously, clicking through all of this stupidness is so annoying. To just change it and then to basically lose 450,000 credits because I have to get this one first, then I have to try out this one, 300,000, then I noticed that this one was good again, 450,000, almost 500,000 credits wasted, which is roughly an hour of work for the casual player. So yeah, Wargaming. Honestly, just make this cost 200,000. Just 200,000 flat. 200, 400, 600, 800, 1 million, 1.2 million to get the whole tank ready. But then I don't have to pay when I want to switch around. I know in the long run you might lose some credits, but this should be a quality of life change for the player. Okay? Don't make it unnecessarily annoying for the player for them to try stuff out. Seriously, this is so annoying. But yeah, this is my biggest annoyance with the system when it would come, and it will most likely come, sadly enough. Now let's talk about Wargaming's amazing example of you finally being able to adjust your scout to the perfect conditions. That's literally how I showed it in the video with the T-49 on Malinovka. I hope that every one of you understands that this is a strict buff to every single good player. So, if you are your average Joe Schmo, if you know SCP, you will basically get actually screwed over harder because the better players will always be able to adjust to a new system better, and especially when it's min-maxing. A min-max system is a dream for a uniscum. Or a unicorn, how you want to call us. But the thing is, it literally makes it so much easier for us to adjust to the game itself. And now let's take, for example, I didn't prepare it because I did it with a tier 10 tank, but let's take this little annoyance as an example. We can increase it, it costs 69,000 XP, nice. But as you can see, we are able to get all those modifications down here. We are not able to get those top ones, but yeah, that's all right. So yeah, we can go for top speed because it has enough horsepower anyway. So now we are 72 kph speedy, ELC even 90. We can say we need, I don't really care if we have less reload time, but I want the shots to count. So let's take this one, for example. And if I get hit by artillery anyway, it doesn't freaking matter. So I'm taking more reverse speed. So yeah. Now, you could say that this tank... Oh, wait, I actually forgot something. Again, the UI is very great. So let's take this one right here, and let's, for example, take a mobility... let's just take a firepower slot. It might be the best idea which we can have. So yeah, let's take this, something like this. Let's put that one right here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's put that in slot 2. Let's put this one in slot 1. And... let's take this one right here. Bada bam, bada booyah. And bam. 508 meters of... excuse me. Obviously I have to use a crew. Otherwise it will be unfair. 550 meters of fuel range. That's nice. Camo braking as hell. That's nice. I would say we take that, right? So yeah, that is our passive scouting for Malinovka, for Prokhorovka. Awesome, epic, fun and engaging mechanic. So now... we say, you know what, we need a damage loadout so we can play on different maps. So, I don't know, let's take maybe something like this, who knows? Or no, we see we don't have that much fuel range anymore, so we take this one right here. So we have a pretty decent amount of spotting, you know, but we have a much better gun handling right now, etc, etc. It will feel a lot more convenient to use. So now, I'm sitting here in my Bacha 12T while I'm still grinding it. I don't have field modifications unlocked yet, and now I have to fight several games in a row against the ELC even 90. Even though the ELC even 90 is worse when it comes to fighting capabilities, the ELC even 90 is able to adjust to every single game we are playing. Sure, he only is able to get either a passive scout or a fighting scout setup, but that's the whole point. Premium tanks are more likely to finish this endless progression of the field modifications a lot quicker. I don't think this traverse speed will be necessary or will be important. It will actually be whatever. But the ability in the 10 seconds of the game starting to be able to adjust to those things is a wet dream for good players. And that is why so many good players hate it, which at least with the people I talk to. Because so many people said that not only is it another layer of complexity to a game which is already rather complex, which should be for the average Joe Schmo, it is also just giving the good players even more tools to fuck over bad players, your average players. And the thing is, premium tanks are usually already better than their tech tree counterparts anyway. And which tanks are more likely to get more EXP or have more EXP laying around on them? Premium vehicles, obviously, because you can make money with them and put whatever crew you want in them, right? So this system right here is just completely and utterly frustrating. It makes the gap between tech tree vehicles and non-tech tree vehicles even bigger. That's just literally how it is. And this is just for tier 8 and tier 9 and all the other the lower tiers until tier 6. On tier 10 it's a whole other story when you have people which recently got a new tier 10 tank versus people which already played their favorite tier 10 tanks for quite some time. And this is the same problem. Again, me in my Batchup, for example, right here, even though I could also get a firepower slot to make the vertical stabilizer more consistent or better, I don't have this luxury right now because, oh wonder, I have to grind out 2 different tier 10 tanks, tier 9 tanks. Theoretically tier 10 tanks as well, because if you go to tier 9 you get the IMX-30 and on tier 10 you get the IMX-30B. But yeah. And I can't adjust to be a passive scout. I can't adjust to get a pure spotting setup, you know? But this guy can, in a tank which is already incredible sneaky, you know? That's just completely frustrating. It's completely frustrating. 550 meters of view range, 100 meters worth of camo braking, additional CVS camo braking. Well, meanwhile, I have to play this setup, so I am useful on most maps. It hurts, it's so dumb, you know? That is dumb. That's genuinely dumb. And we can take other examples. That's the same for my T100 LT. This is basically what I used in bounty equipment, this one right here, this stuff right here, to free mark this tank. It took quite some while because you are very dependent on your team. Screw that now, because now I can have this one right here, a fighting setup. I might just also use this in the... screwed up again. My bad, guys. Put this right here, so we have a better gun on the move handling. But now we are a pretty decent fighting scout, you know? We actually don't have that much view range anymore, you know? We might say, screw it. We might say, I'm going to remove the vents right here and add the optics so we still can spot on most maps a little bit. You know, just put it like here. Something like this. Yeah, that's perfect, I would say. Yeah, now we have 480 meters of view range, and if we get onto passive scout maps, we take this one right here. So we have 485 meters of view range, we have a lot of camo braking because, oh wonder, there is actually field modifications which gives you camo braking for people behind cover. And did you know we also can get more camouflage, which makes it even harder to get spotted? And do you know we can go 3 kph quicker? That is also something which the EBR can do as well, by the way. The EBR now, once again, goes 93 kph. It does lose a little bit in reverse speed, so you have to keep that in mind, but I guess nobody really cares, let's be honest. But yeah, now I can also have something like this as my fighting setup, and this for more spotting consistent setup. Or actually, I could just say, you know what, I don't really need the rammer, it's not really useful anyway, because I just want to make my shots count on the move, so I just put in a stabilizer. Actually, here might be have a mistake in the Manticore, but the thing is, we get 591 meters of view range, as well as shitloads of camo braking, so it's the perfect passive scout. But I think there is actually a mistake, because I did play around with the anti-reflective optics. So yeah. Speaking about this second assignment slot, this is the big problem which I'm having, because on one hand, when first this field modification came out, we said that this is completely stupid because it makes you make heavy tanks go 70 kph basically. And after that, the bond equipment, the bond turbo was introduced. So on one hand, this mobility or this second slot which you are allowed to adjust however you want is actually pretty decent because it closes the gap between bounty and bond equipment users and your average Joe Schmo. But on the other hand, it basically gives some equipments where there are no bond or bounty equipment equivalent the ability to be used freely. So let's take the K91 as an example because I prepared this one. I could in theory say, you know what? I can go on a completely stationary camo braking menace. I could just say, screw that right here, and I just use vents, optics, and have the camo braking, and I can be a second scout, you know? Especially on maps like Mali and Proco, this might be very, very important to be a second stationary scout. While on other maps, I just go for your typical DPM loadout, which I didn't prepare yet, because again, I just wanted to give you this as an example. But let's take the 907. This might be my usual setup for random battles to try hard for the third mark, even though I suck a dick in this tank. And for Clan Wars, maybe we have something like this, where our 907 now goes 60 kph and I have 2200 hit points. More than some heavy tanks which are not using HP boost, because yes, I can boost my hit points with this. And there is right now no bond equivalent to the hit point boost, even though there are some in the file but not released yet. So yeah, on one hand, it is a pretty decent, but on the other hand, I feel like you can do completely broken things. Because flat camo braking is better than just stacking view range. So in many situations where you say, yo, I'm playing a tank or a medium tank with optics right now, it might be better to just stack on the CVS, you know? And with the CS63, it's the same deal. You can say, I'm just going to use here a hit point slot for Clan Wars related stuff. The idea to be able to switch between two things is pretty decent, but in game it makes it way too overpowered on scouts, in my personal opinion. This one right here, to be able to switch between different loadouts, that's cool. In game, no repercussions, that's very, very decent. But being able to adjust your equipment in the game in the first 30 seconds, I don't like this. I really don't. But yeah, you know, another thing is obviously, come on, you get flat bonuses. You know, those flat bonuses usually, like let's say you get 3% more hit points right now. This one I think right here, no, there's one which makes me lose some hit points, I think. Which one was it? This one? No, this one? No, this one? No, this one? It should be this one. Nope. I thought there was one which makes me lose a little bit of hit points. Might be another, might be a breakthrough tank where you lose hit points. But yeah, the thing is, like in the end, here I say I want to have a quicker aim time because I'm usually going to play without a stabilizer. So I don't really care if the gun is not as accurate anymore. You know? So that is a-okay. Because there's a lot less RD around, I think that view range might be a little bit more valuable than having the additional stun duration protection, especially when we have a medkit anyway. So yeah, there are so many minuses, or the things which are basically making the tank a little bit less strong. You know, the trade-offs for the dual modifications are usually useless anyway, because there will be many tanks or spots where it doesn't matter. Like for example here, 10% to gun traverse speed, meaning going up and down, I think. That doesn't really matter. You take the 2 kph reverse speed every day, so you get quicker into cover. And again, because we can add here the mobility slot on our Chief Tord, we don't actually need the bond turbo anymore. And we have our Chieftain, which now also goes 51 kph and 20 kph in reverse and has 18 HP per ton ratio. You know, with 2500 hit points. The thing is, the field modifications in general is on some ideas okay, but it makes good tanks even better, obviously, because of the flat bonuses. They're small, they're minor, but they are there. And second of all, my concern is that a lot of people, a lot of the average show, and I know this sounds incredible high-horsed. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of the casual players think that this will benefit them more, that this will benefit them a lot, but not realizing that better players will abuse the system even harder and benefit even harder from it. And obviously you have to play all those tanks which you need for Clan Wars to get them onto their levels. Obviously you can do that in Clan Wars and in Advanced, you get the XP there, but you have to play those a lot more. But yeah, it also makes tanks a little bit more playable, like the Rhinoceronte. I'm actually getting 2000 DPM, oh my goodness, because of this focus on fire modification, because I said, you know what, screw it, I already have pretty decent aim time. I'd rather take everything able to make the gun more accurate in general and having better gun handling in general. But yeah, I think there are also some modifications which say if you get those, you have... I think, yeah, right, it was in the medium tanks. If you get ammo racked, this one right here. If you get ammo racked, you will have 50% longer reload time. And if your gun gets damaged, it gets 20% more inaccurate. Who gives a shit? Honestly, you have a med kit and a rep kit which has a 90-second cooldown. You barely have any more damaged ammo rack in many cases. And if you are playing with a big repair kit, which a lot of good players are doing anyway, irrelevant. It's freaking irrelevant. Seriously, insert rice gum right here. You know? I don't know. To me personally, it's just getting way too much. And the thing is, we have Crew 2.0. We already have Equipment 2.0, which made things a lot more complicated for the average Joe Schmo. And now we have field modifications, which make it even more complicated with buttload of things just standing here and you're like, what the hell is going on in here, you know? I don't know. It makes the game more complicated than what it needs to be. I saw some people actually comparing it to League of Legends, and I have to say, no, League of Legends is actually a lot more simpler than what we have right here. Yes, you have to learn the different champions and their skills and the equipment they have there, but you don't have such an in-depth change anymore. They actually simplified their skill system, or like their out-of-game skill system, a lot during the past decade. By the way, I like that this is overlapping right here. I have to send this to technical issues part of the Discord as well. But yeah, to me personally, I'm out of words right now. I think I've talked about everything I don't like about this system, and I hope I was able to show you my side of the argument. And now I really want to know, what is your side of the argument? What do you think about this system, or why do you like it, you know? For me personally, again, it is just that good players will be able to abuse it even harder, make it even harder for other peoples. It makes premium tanks even stronger because they are the ones which will be able to get those field modifications out there even quicker. However, the other side of the coin, it will make the difference between your person which plays bounty equipment and bond equipment a little bit closer, which is nice. And it is one of those long-awaited endgame contents. But again, makes good tanks even better, obviously. And even if it comes, please Wargaming, just remove this, that I have to pay 450,000 to try out just one part, please. Thank you very much. My name is RagingRaptor. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for rambling so long, but a more edited video will come about the Crew 2.0 shitstorm soon, TM. So I'll see you around there. Cheers.